So
I
yeah,
have to
so
sign off on the call, and it's no, I'm just messing with
no, don't do that. That is a cool backdrop. You have a Grogu.
you. Yes. Oh man, I've got two of them.
I have a Grogu somewhere. I'm not quite sure where it is. It might be
Yeah.
downstairs, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Grogu's fun, man. In fact, looking around, I have three of them. So.
Wow. Which
Yeah,
which is the main Grogu though?
I don't know, man. I like the. Let's see here. Can I flip my?
We soon find out.
Yeah. Let's see here. There you go.
Nice.
So, yeah, man.
Just
this is one of the dogs that you've heard for a long time on Waxing Cinematic. He gets in my way, but anyway, I think this is actually my favorite Grogu, just because it looks more like Grogu.
It does. Yeah.
This one, I mean, it's okay, but I mean, it is what it is. And then over on my desk, there's Grogu right there.
Tiny Grogus. So
yeah, man.
Just for those on audio, I am being given a little bit of a tour of John's office. So it's a pretty. Right. I'm extremely jealous. It's pretty impressive. So we're planning on moving house at some point. So most of my stuff's just boxed up and. You know.
Oh, some of my stuff is still boxed up. I'll be getting that out later. So.
Yep.
Yeah, man. But these are the digs. I know one of these days you and I are going to do a video showing all of our collectibles and stuff. And while I've got the camera flipped.
Oh, look at those posters.
There's my Star Wars corner. And then this is the sound booth. We flip the light on. And so that's where all the voiceover happens, man. The iPad is old and pretty much worthless, but that's where my scripts pop up. And so anyway, man. But
that's impressive. So there's like a peek behind the wizard's curtain, so to speak.
Right.
Pretty impressive. So I was listening to a new Photo Flow podcast, and I got very, very confused. It was the newest one that was talking about the film Phantasm that had your introduction, Terror in the Smiles, all that sort of stuff. And Jake and Eric recorded that just after Thanksgiving. I think Jake needs to speed his editing up because it confused me. So he's talking on this episode. He's like, it's recorded the week after Thanksgiving. And for a second there, I got confused because I'm like, I'm not in America, but I'm pretty sure Thanksgiving's in November, not the middle of June. So I guess he's been catching up on a whole bunch of editing on his podcast lately.
I don't know, man. He and I don't catch up as much as we used to, but yeah, when he was going to start doing the that podcast, I did the logo and I did the voiceover for the intro.
Yep.
So
good intro. He is still using that, and to be fair, I'm still using the logo that I think you made for me about 9 years ago. So me and Jake do like to get our money's worth out of anything that you're kind enough to do for us. So that's kind of cool.
Well, I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
Exactly. Yep. So I've seen The Flash.
Have you? What'd you think, man? We haven't seen it yet.
I really like The Flash. Half of the internet, of course, is bitching and whinging and complaining about it, as the internet generally does. I think a lot of the people complaining about it just have an issue with Ezra Miller, so they can't separate the art from the movie. Yeah. I think probably another big chunk of them are Marvel fans that just like to pick, they've got to pick a team. You can't possibly like them both. No.
Right.
You've got to, it's like cheating on one of them.
Well, we saw that with Justice League. You know what I mean? We had the Marvelized version of Justice League, and then we had the black and white version, the Snyderverse Justice League. And I liked it darker. I mean, if I want bright, colorful banter, etc., man, I'll go with Marvel. But if I want a little dark edge, then I mean, I think Deadpool summed it up best when he was. Was it Deathstroke? Anyway, but when he was saying, that the character was so dark that, are you sure you're not in the DC universe? So, yeah, man.
But it's good. It is very, very good. I think you'll get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
It is not quite as dark in tone as Justice League, and I like the dark tone. Yeah. Make it more serious and deadly. And, but it's not too light that it's not the latest Thor movie, for example, which is just slapstick comedy. I could not get into that.
Did you read the article where Chris was saying that he's embarrassed by it? He felt like they went too light with it.
They did,
and had too much fun with it. Yeah,
they did. But trial and error, can't get everything right. Can't please the internet all the time, can you? But no, it's good. There is a post-credit sequence, so stick around for that. I didn't because I needed to go to the bathroom, but I know somebody that did, and they told me what it was. I'm like, I'm kind of good. Because my thought was I'm not going to stick around for a post-credit sequence because we're probably never going to get what it was.
Right.
Because DC's under new management. Right. So I'm like, whatever it is, I'll find out. I'm in no rush. But it's good. Ezra Miller is fantastic in the film, even though he's a head case off screen. But no, it's very, very good. So I think you will like it.
Well, good, man. You remember Mr. and Ms. Smith, and that was where Brad Pitt hooked up with Angelina Jolie, and then, you know, a lot of people were saying that they weren't going to watch the movie simply because he cheated on his wife. Oh my goodness, like that's never happened in the history of Hollywood. But it was a good movie. But I don't understand why people can't separate themselves from movies. Just enjoy it. I mean, like the character they're portraying, I mean, like, it's not like Ezra Miller really can tap into the Speed Force, you know, and so, you know, and I mean, you when you have that much adoration coming at you 24/7, how is that not going to affect your ego and mental status? So.
The internet does love a blood sport, doesn't it? It's like, oh look, somebody's done something wrong. Let's get them. And in Ezra Miller's case, he did quite a few things wrong, so you know, go get him. But unless Ezra Miller is doing a one-man show where he wrote, directed, starred, edited, filmed it all, did the music, then you know my money goes to all the other people that helped make The Flash. But it's good. I would definitely gets my thumbs up. I've also watched Fast 10, which is just ridiculous.
We're going back to it. So we're about halfway through F9. And so I mean, like, I don't see how it could get more ludicrous than F8, but you know, I heard that a lot of fans were saying F this. So yeah.
F9 is definitely the low point of the series. I didn't like F8. I thought F8 was just not good. F9 I really didn't like. F10 is better than F8 and F9. So you will be okay.
How did they question isn't just the lack of physics and common sense in it. It's the fact that Dom's little brother suddenly, what happened? I mean, like, I get if he's skinny and then he gets all built up muscular, but I mean, he probably gained 6 inches, you know, and so that didn't make a lot of sense to me. And because I'm a fan of both actors who played, what was it, Derek or Darren or something? Jacob, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just didn't make any sense. It's, you know,
no.
Anyway, yeah.
So yeah, we'll have a chat next time about F9, but that's definitely that stretches any law of physics or anything. To be fair, any sort of reality. But they're fun films. I don't mind them.
You have to, and they have a very distinct flavor, and you have to. Once you're prepared for that, then you know it being ludicrous just doesn't, and not the actor, but just the the way the movie is. Yeah, man, you get in that headspace and you kind of get it. So, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Not yet.
Dude,
no.
It's awesome, man. I've seen it twice. A buddy of mine came in from New York, and I saw it the second time with him, but I saw it originally with Michelle. And great wrap up to the series.
Did you cry? Is it an emotional ending?
I mean, I'm not giving anything away. I thought it was genius. The trailers, you think that you know what it's about, right? You know, you see, you know, them carrying the lifeless body of Star-Lord, but that's all within the first 5 minutes of the movie, and then hey, anything goes, and so it was cool, man. I did the voice for Groot for an educational, some sort of learning with Groot series. And so they couldn't afford Vin Diesel, so they got me. And but it was interesting.
To be fair, I would have thought you're more expensive than Vin Diesel, to be fair, certainly at this moment in time. But, you know.
Right. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. But anyway, so that was an interesting added, yeah, like emotion as I started, hearing Groot speak. And because I had been Groot, even though I wasn't Groot in the movie, that was just kind of cool, man. So that was like a little extra, I guess. So
Nice. But no, I haven't seen yet. There's so many
yeah.
films coming out this year. It is a
Oh
pretty
yeah.
incredible year. The trailers we got, 3 of them are out in the next 6 weeks. I guess Oppenheimer,
Hmm.
which I
Yep.
really want to watch. There's Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, just in case the title can't get any longer. There's
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and
Yeah.
those are just like June and early July. And then The Flash, which I saw the other day. So it
Yeah.
is a good year for movies.
And they are trying to make up for lost time during the
Yeah.
quarantine and all that. And it's interesting how many movies were, they went into production right before shutdown, and they are just hitting theaters and TV now.
Mhm.
So that's, I guess movie stars don't age like normal people. So 3 years later, hey, here you go.
Here's hoping there's no, for example, strikes coming up or ongoing that could maybe derail future movies.
Right. Well, it seems like the Directors Guild has been sated, correct? And Writers
Mm.
Guild is an ongoing strike. I haven't kept up with it in the last week. I've just been busy with some other stuff. So
Yeah, the writers are still out on strike. The Screen Actors Guild have voted to
yeah,
strike. So if their demands aren't met at the end of this month, at the end of June, then
yeah,
they go out on strike. The Directors Guild has went, oh no, we've made some deals, so we're okay. Apparently, some of that is we will get residuals from streaming,
right,
but that doesn't. We're not going to tell you how many times your thing's been watched. So
right,
if nobody
yeah.
watches it, you'll get this amount, and if everybody watches it, we're not going to tell you anyway, so you'll get this amount. So it's not great, but they've got something. But
Yeah.
I kind
Well,
of feel sorry for the writers. I was hoping everybody would go out and strike, and then the studios would have to fold, and everybody would get everything, which would be nice. But
they deserve it.
yeah,
And I don't know if you've experimented around with Chat GPT, AI
a little bit,
technology.
a
I
little bit.
enjoy the text to image stuff that Adobe has incorporated into Firefly and now into the beta version of Photoshop. But somebody was telling me that part of what the Directors Guild wanted was some sort of declaration that they would not be replaced with AI, which,
Yeah,
as a director, how do you replace you or me or Neil with a digital? I mean, like, how can the digital director perceive what just happened? And you know how it is when a scene really rocks it off the page the way you wrote it or the way you interpreted it. Then I get goosebumps, man. I know that's the best take. I may still have them do one more just, for the sake of coverage. But man, I mean, like, the computers can't get goosebumps. Now, the Writers Guild, I'm assuming they have something in, that they're wanting in their contracts so that they will not be replaced
yeah.
by a chat bot, or not a chat bot, but I mean, it's Chat GPT, which, it just keeps growing exponentially. And then I saw, I guess it was at the gas pump, that the new chips for all the new computers are going to have AI infused in it. And I'm just like, Cyberdyne. It, here's
Pretty
the
much, doesn't
Terminator
it?
theme song.
It's weird. It's like James Cameron must be punching his Avatar studio wall or whatever, going,
Right.
I told you guys in 1984 and again in the early 90s, and you're still
Yeah.
not listening.
He's a techno prophet.
He
We
is.
should have listened.
He is indeed. But yeah, so who
Yeah.
knows what films are going to come out next year? Depends how long the writer's strike goes on for.
Yeah, and it's
But we shall see.
my cousin who has I mean, like, he's been on the board of the Writers Guild for, I don't know, decade or more now. And so he went down to Georgia to help out with the protest down there. He's right in that area anyway, but yeah, he seemed quite happy to be out there holding a sign. And you see a lot of other happy people too. And
Yeah,
I think everybody deserves their slice of the pie. It's
yeah,
not just, I think the BBC has always had, maybe, I don't know, a better grip on, how to fund TV shows, and I don't know, maybe just doing better math. I don't know. Maybe the
no,
Writers Guild is on strike over there too.
I think the BBC they force the public, as in like me and everybody else, to
Right.
pay a set amount each year, even
Right.
if we don't watch the BBC. So
Yeah.
it's an enforced TV license, and then they obviously make
Right.
the programs with that, and then sell them off all over the world to make even more money, which we never get back.
Right.
And then they keep snowballing it that way. But yeah, it's an enforced license over here, which
Gotcha.
is kind of annoying because it's like, well, what if we don't watch it? Well, we're still going to pay it.
Right. At least they earn, I guess, their money over here with sponsors and
Yeah.
gosh, I can't even remember the name of the group that polls to see who's watching what. I'm sure they're
Nielsen.
yeah,
Is that,
I'm
yeah.
sure they're irrelevant now because everybody is streaming everything. So
I think it's the same over here as well. It's I think Harry Potter and the Indiana Jones movies dropped, and everybody was so excited. They were like, "Oh, finally, I'm going to watch them. I've not seen them for years." It's like, do you not own the DVDs or the Blu-rays? These, it's not.
Yeah.
You've never struggled. I've never struggled to get hold of an Indiana Jones movie,
Right.
or a Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
So I've cancelled most of my streaming platforms because it's like, you know what? If the streamers can't pay the writers, then guess what? Streamers ain't getting my money either. So I'm doing my tiny little bit. And I've rushed back to physical media, and I'm going through a lot of the box sets and stuff that I've not watched for ages. So my watch list is lots of old Clint Eastwood movies, and we watched Dirty Harry the other day, and Brewster's Millions, which is not a Clint Eastwood film, and State of Grace from 1990. So all these DVDs that I've had for ages, I'm digging them back out, and I'm just sitting watching them. So I'm never going to struggle for things to watch. I'm all good.
And I mean, on the physical media, you have lots of bonuses that they don't have on the streaming networks.
Yeah. Like all the so I've got this Clint Eastwood box set, which Jeanette got me for my birthday. It's 40 Clint Eastwood movies.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have got commentaries on. It's like, commentaries for Dirty Harry? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to check all those out. I'm up to about, I think it's like 700 commentaries now that I've got. So that's quite, I do need to start listening to them at some point.
Yeah.
That would be good.
And hopefully the viewing audience caught that when you were referencing the box behind you, that I did try to look around your head like I could, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's over there. I don't want to tie myself up with cables, but
I hear you, man.
Yeah, it's a huge 40 thing.
Yeah.
So it's all the ones he did at Warner Brothers. So there's quite a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've been catching up. This is going out on Friday night.
You're not going to wait until after Thanksgiving?
No, I might not. So I will. I've worked at the same night job for 6 years.
Yeah.
And I'm out. I've left.
Congratulations, man.
I am out. So there's a scene in Point Break where Keanu Reeves looks and there's no parachute and he's like, fuck it. And he jumps out the plane. That's me with regards to my night job. So it's kind of weird.
You're not just quitting your job. You're going on a tour down to Tunisia.
Yeah, well, that's true. I'm gonna float in a swimming pool.
Right.
I am just gonna detox from my 6 years of dealing with horrible customers. I'm gonna start to get healthy. So lots of swimming, lots of walk along the beach, lots of thinking. I've got a little notebook, so I'm gonna write down lots of ideas. Going right, what's next? Never quite thought of that. And then hopefully some new chapters will open up and I can do that.
It will, man. Yeah. But I applaud you for making that jump. I'm in the process of doing that myself, but you're ahead of me. You jumped out of the plane. I'm kind of thinking, do I want to grab the parachute or do I just want to jump out? And Avid will drive you out of the plane. So
yeah. Oh, it's Avid, is it? Is it Avid? It's finally tipping you over the edge.
And, man, the other day I went, I'm producing a safety video for a guy who, he reminds me so much of Jason Momoa. I don't know whether that would be an insult to him or not, but he's got the Momoa forehead and the long hair and the glasses and the beard, just like, anyway, but he runs this crew that works on like landfills, and they collect the methane gas and then sell it to the power company. So that's his job. And so it was dusty. I felt a lot like we were on Mars, except for all the just junk. It was like the side of Mars that NASA doesn't want us to see
Was it
because
like
we've been sending our trash.
was it like Wally?
It was
Beginning
it
of
was,
Wally,
man.
yeah.
Section was made of old like car cushions and stuff. So as you got out, I mean, like it was cushy. It was weird, man. But that being out in the dust, out in the sun, and shooting video for most of the day was way more fun than editing with Avid. So that was good confirmation that I wanted to get back to working for myself and find some contract work and continue with the voiceover. But yeah, man, working for one company is it's a paycheck, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth the stress, and especially working in Avid. But you know, that too production could be tighter. I'll be kind with my comments about this company, but yeah, I mean, production could be tighter, and that would help us out in post. But that doesn't happen, and you know, it's not like a movie where you can be creative and infuse a flavor, and we're going to keep this theme with the music, the color tinting, the audio mix. It's not going to be like a Soderbergh flick. It's going to be more Marvel. You know, we're going to have more bass and stuff, and then you finish up, and then it's like, what's the next thing? That's where I want to be versus the just this mundane
Yeah.
stuff, and everybody has an opinion, and is actually valid. So anyway, I'm sorry, man. It's the dude who hasn't quit his job deal.
It is. I mean, you're probably going through the same thing I was going through, and to a certain extent still am, where you go,
Yeah.
it's a paycheck, but it's a
Right.
paycheck that stresses me out. I don't have time to do all the other things that I could do, but it's a paycheck. Yeah, but you hate it, and it's making you miserable, and you're losing your temper at the monitor now and again. Yes, but it's a paycheck, and you're like, but I need to get out. Yeah, but what if you don't find another paycheck? Oh. And you know, sometimes you just got to do the Keanu Reeves thing and just leap out
Yeah.
the plane. And if it doesn't work, I find that I'm better if I do something and then go, oh, I need to fix this. Then I'll fix it. I am better doing that than right. Let me plan to do something after I leave this, because I'll never get it done.
Yeah. I think, you know, so many people that are our age when they were in their 20s, maybe in their teens, but I never thought about this until I was in my 20s. But you know, the older generation will say, well, you know, until you've paid off your car and until you have that house, there's no point in getting married. It's almost like in Muppets Christmas Carol, where
Yep.
you know, here he's got the babe of his dreams, and he's like, well, it's still not where I want it to be, you know. So then she left, man. Which
Yep.
I still don't understand why Disney cut out that cool song where we really hear him lament. Why? I mean, why cut that out? Did it really matter time wise? No. I mean, good God, look at Avatar 2. I mean, you know, it's
It
yeah.
it probably upset Twitter. I guess that's why Disney
Right.
does everything now. That's why they just delay everything, because it upsets Twitter.
That's interesting. I did read that article the other day where you know, some stuff has been bumped to 2025 and beyond, and you know, it's like, oh, this was coming out, but now we're angry that it's, you know, now it's coming out too soon. What, man? I mean, like, if you live your life, then this is the random cherries that you find on your cake, you know,
Yeah.
and the good kind, not the bad kind with the
No.
pit that'll break your teeth. Yeah. So
I think you know, people often say, "Oh, time flies. Why is time going so fast?" That's
right,
because you're getting excited for a fucking Marvel movie that's coming out in
right,
2029. That's why. That's why time's
right.
flying, because
Yeah.
you're focus on other stuff. Don't start a Monday and go, "Oh, I can't wait till the weekend." Focus on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Otherwise, you're just time jumping
Yeah.
all the time, and
Yeah.
it's not good.
No, it's not fun at all, man. And you know, it's I guess there are times where I take that mentality to the extreme. It's like last week with me trying to get my reel done, the After Effects reel, as well as the my new voiceover reel, because I hadn't done a voiceover reel in a couple of years, because it all kind of sounds the same. I mean, I'm happy with it, but then somebody was pointing out, you know, like, well, you know, I've heard this and this, that's what you need on there, and that kind of inspired me. But good lord, man, when you know, it was Michelle usually goes to bed around 7:30, and then usually I go to bed with her. We watch a little TV because she gets up at like 4:15 every morning, that she has to go to work, and I tend to wake up and not go back to sleep once she leaves the bed. So, but like 9:30, 10 o'clock used to be nothing. But man, that really, it's hard to recover from that when that becomes the norm with me trying to get things done in the evening. Um, so anyway, but yeah, man, you do have to keep moving forward, and you have to celebrate the small wins, even if you. I've gotten 2 gigs off the voiceover reel. I haven't gotten any gigs off the After Effects reel, but at least it's out there. It's like fishing.
Yeah.
Unless you're at the beach, you have a good lure, and your hook is in the water, you're not going to catch anything.
No, not at all. And it's so very easy to sort of think, well, I mean, I wouldn't think this applies to you, but generally people who aren't in the industry go, well, there's no point trying because I'm never going to get anywhere. Well,
Right,
if you don't try, you're never going to get anywhere.
right,
And
right.
that's something I've suffered from a few times. You go, well, I don't know, is there any point?
Right.
I could just sit down and watch a movie instead.
Right. Yeah.
So it was. I did a video interview on Monday. I can't remember what day. Monday, I think it was. I'll go for Monday. It's as good a
Yeah.
day as any. It's after Thanksgiving, and
Right.
I forced myself to do a video one. Because this isn't in my comfort zone doing video.
Yeah.
I'm more just sit with a headset and I could just sort of look around and go, so
Right.
what have you watched, John? And I've got my show notes and I could look at things.
Right.
We can check IMDb to see what the name of that film was. And I thought, no, I'm really going to get out of my comfort zone and start doing video more. And it went fine. And the ultimate compliment was when the filmmakers messaged me afterwards saying, can you send us a copy of it? Because we want to put it out on our social media things.
Nice.
I'm like,
Yeah.
well, guess it wasn't terrible then if you're asking for a copy of it. So
Right.
that's why, I mean, it's nice to be able to sit and look at you and see your desk and be very envious of your nice, tidy setup. I'm not turning that way because it's just there's piles of clothes and stuff there. But here I'm okay.
I'm trying to enhance your video for you and change views periodically.
Yeah, I just keep this one because there is nothing tidy on this side.
Right.
It's all things ready for holidays and stuff. But
I got you, man.
in Tunisia, there's a nearby town which is, I can't remember the name, but it's where they filmed some of Life of Brian. So I'm going to try and take a little trip out there and get some video footage.
Yeah.
So
I want to be cool, man.
Because periodically,
that's
what's
go ahead. I was going to say that's also where they shot part of Star Wars, New Hope, isn't it?
Yeah, some of Tunisia. Yeah, it was shot in Tunisia. I don't know which part of Tunisia.
Yeah,
Star Wars was shot in, but trust me, if there's a tour able to get there, I'm going on it. I'm going all cameraed up, and I'm trying to get into TikTok. I'm putting trailers up there, and I'm not dancing or not that sort of TikTok, but just movie related stuff. I'm trying
Have
to
you thought about dancing though?
I might end up doing that after a couple of months of not working. I might be like, look, I need the money. Pay me money or I will keep dancing. That type of thing. But no, I'm in that whole thing when I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next. So that's exciting and also kind of scary, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, but it is. When I was talking to Neil the other day, I guess it was last week, and we discussed paychecks versus going job to job. And yeah, man, I mean, like to me, it makes you a lot hungrier to have to earn each paycheck versus just, every 2 weeks it's deposited into the bank. And that I mean, it's easy to relax into, and then you don't move forward on all your dreams and everything that you want to, do. So.
I mean, a lot of the stuff I've done in my life, it's not been for a paycheck, but I've just been lucky enough to go do film things or, that type of thing. And that makes more interesting reading in an autobiography than I just type to customers who complain and swear at me. So I've had a few chapters of dull life with regards to work. So I need some more exciting things. So that's why I'm just gonna go do them and stuff. So.
Well, I think it encourages people to follow their dreams. It's I don't know if you're a fan of the band Extreme, but they've got a new album out, and I have always played guitar, and I used to play guitar more, but Nuno Bettencourt is like Eddie Van Halen, Stevie Ray Vaughan status. I mean, just really, really good. And turns out he is pretty much our age. And so I was like, well, damn, he's still jamming. He's still relevant.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's these people who continue to do what they love that do encourage me to keep on going.
Hell yeah. I think you get too many people that look at their lives and think, how old am I? I shouldn't be doing that. No, screw all that.
Right.
No,
Oh
no, no,
yeah.
not at all.
That or if I haven't achieved, my dream job by the time I'm 50, I'm gonna go work at Walmart and be miserable every day. And
Have you got a dream job? And that was something I was going to ask earlier on. Actually, is there one, a realistic one? Obviously, not like I'm going to be king of the world, because that's James Cameron's job. He's
oh
got that
damn.
one.
All right. Well,
Damn it.
let me
Be
think.
vice president. Be vice president.
I would like to, you know, a world, I would write novels, which I'm in the process of, and I would continue doing voiceover. And I guess when I wanted to, then I would go shoot a movie, man. Write, direct, produce, that kind of thing. But primarily, I would like to be able to, sit anywhere and do, and just write novels. How about you?
How is your novel going?
It's going well, man. It's the way I'm writing it, because it started out being a TV series. I can't remember if I sent it to you or not. But it turned into a pitch Bible that was about 100 pages, and now I've added to that. But I was trying to hustle through it during quarantine, thinking that my friends that were in the industry were still, working there. And then when I got to the point where I felt, okay, I'm ready to send this out and let some people look at it, dude, one person after another had gotten tired of the rat race of being the head of, anyway, streaming networks, for lack of a
Mm.
better term. I don't want to give anything away, because I'm proud of them for stepping down from a very prestigious job to starting a little animation, like boutique animation, or that kind of thing. So another thing that is happening since we're doing the video is, people are texting me, and it almost reminds me of when I used to do the waxing cinematic. And
Right.
Jake and I are trying to stay on track while interacting with people. And then too, on 3 occasions now, I have almost, reached down to pull my phone out so I could respond. But that's
Yeah.
what I'm using.
That's the thing. It's the trickiness of audio versus video.
Right.
There is still, and I do want to get to the point where I get so used to it, and it's just that's the natural. And this is still being turned into audio.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's nice to be able to just react off the body language and
Well,
stuff
there
like
were a
that.
couple of interviews that Jake and I did where the audio was awful. I mean, it took so much to clean up because we didn't have this kind of ability to record Skype and all that. And so we would Skype while we were recording. Anyway, it was complicated, but yeah, definitely being able to read people's faces. And then, when the cat jumped up and startled one of the people we were interviewing, then everybody understood why. I mean, like, it wasn't like, hey, are you okay? It's no, this huge cat just jumped up and startled me. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's and you're right, man. When you're interviewing somebody and you can look at their expressions and see when they're starting to glaze over, when you need to move on to a different topic, that kind of thing. So,
And so
so what about you, man?
my
Dream
ideal
job.
job. My ideal
Yeah.
job is I want to get a phone call or an email going, hey, we're filming in such and such a location. You're going to be there for 3-4 days or whatever. They're going to put me in a tent in the corner of the set, and they're just going to send cast and crew over, and I'm going to interview them, and I'm going to shoot all the behind the scenes stuff, and I'm going to do all the still photography for the press kits, and then when they're done with me, I will move on to another film set. So I don't even know what that job is, but I think that's what I want.
Man.
That's my role.
Well, let me get there and I'll give you the phone call. But
Definitely.
that'll be less impressive than James Cameron calling and saying, "Hey, Avatar: The Way of the Desert is now in production." So, yeah.
Like, when is it out? 2037. Okay, no, I can't guarantee I will be alive then. But no, I think that's what I enjoy more. I've tried making my own movie stuff, and I think the pandemic pretty much, and the fact that the actress just grew and doesn't look like she used to. I think that
So, like
may have.
Jacob in F9, right?
like Jacob in F9. Yeah, definitely. So I don't know what that's going to do with it. I enjoy writing, but I know that I don't put enough into it to be good enough to go, yes, I can do that, because I don't have the time. But for me to just sit and talk to people about what talented stuff they've done, I can do that. I'm okay at talking. And then obviously blasting it across social media and stuff. So
Right.
that's my ideal job. So,
Yeah.
does it exist? Probably not. I don't know. But
I don't know. I think you're right around the corner, man.
mm,
Yeah. I mean, you've opened up the opportunity for to have the time to do that.
yeah.
So yeah.
So I've got enough of a safety net to keep going for about 4 months from now till probably the end of the year. So that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And I have told Annette, I said, look, when I'm not working, I'm not just going to sit around and watch TV. It's not going to happen. There's loads of stuff I need to do, and I'm going to make sure I get it done. So
That's cool, man.
Fingers crossed it'll work.
Yeah.
We shall see. But
So
first,
another thing. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, the first step is Tunisia and go visit the Life of Brian set. So,
Which that was funny. There was a clip where I know it's they're going to do a play based on the life of Brian, and there's this one scene where one of the characters. It's been so long since I've watched it, but he says, "I want to be a woman," and so there's this discussion about what you can and cannot do, and they were saying that needed to be pulled out to be politically correct, right? And I can't remember if it was John Cleese or somebody was just like, nah, not gonna happen. It's funny. And I think commentary is funny. I think that if we like hide everything, if we redact everything that could possibly be offensive, we won't have any entertainment at all. And we won't be talking about the things that we do need to talk about.
No, I think if you and I start talking about something and you disagree with my point of view or vice versa, then that's how discussions happen, and that's how things change, and that's how you learn, and that's how I learn. I learn from your opinions, you learn from mine.
Yeah.
And no, as long as nobody falls out going, John likes this, I don't like that, I'm off. Blocked. No, not into all that craziness. But
some of my best conversations have been with one of my daughters where we were talking about some current event, and I stated this is my view, and she said, well, what about this side of it? And it was a side that I hadn't looked at because I am my age and she is her age. And but yeah, man, yeah, I enjoy being challenged. I enjoy my views being challenged, not like the trolls do on Twitter, but
no,
but I mean, yeah, sitting around and talking about stuff.
I mean, I'm lucky enough not to be trolled, because I'm not. I mean, I'm just somebody with a Twitter account that retweets lots of movie stars and stuff. But I can't imagine what it was. I think I would probably just block people. I think a lot. You're annoying me. Oh, go away. Doesn't bother me. But some people get very upset when you get trolled, and it's just put the phone down. Just don't look at it.
I don't respond. I mean, if I make some comment, we've talked about this before, but I mean, like, it does deter me sharing as much as I used to, just because I start thinking, well, do I even care what what people think? But yeah, there are some people that have come back just with stupidity, and I'll just delete the tweet, them, you name it, and I'm just and then I'm waiting on that next inspirational moment for me to contemplate whether I should share it or not.
And I think also, and I spend a lot of time on social media, but the amount of time that we spend on social media, we could use that for something else. Just, certainly the negative social media time. Obviously, the positive side is good, and that helps us. But the negative, dealing with trolls, what's the point?
Yeah.
No point whatsoever.
Yeah.
So how's
go ahead.
No, you first. You always bring interesting things. So.
Man.
I always like your questions.
Good. Is there something that annoys you when writers do it in a TV show? Is there? And so you share, and then I'll tell you what prompted this question.
There's two things, and they're both connected with telephone calls in movies or TV shows. One of them is when they answer the phone and they go, "Hey, Fouts." No, hi, it's John. Or, why is it a surname? I don't know. I don't know why the surname's always the thing. And also, when we've had a conversation, they hang up. There's never any bye. They don't say goodbye. That always annoys me.
Was it like Jack Bauer in 24?
Yeah.
Damn it, Chloe. Click. Yeah.
Damn it. Click. Gone. Not right. I'll phone you later on because I'm being shot at. Go away. But yeah, those two things. And then as a bonus one, when people drink out of empty cups. Just put liquid in it and just make it look heavy. You don't have to drink it because you can, I've done that when I've been in a pub or a bar and I've only had enough money for one drink. You just circulate the same sort of drink for an hour and a half, but it's full. So that one, those are my ones. What about yourself?
I'm with you 100% on the empty coffee cups and the empty luggage, where these people or backpacks or whatever, and they've been hiking up the hill and then they pull it off and it's just like, it might as well be anti-gravity backpack or luggage or whatever. But yeah, when they say, "Oh, I went by Starbucks and got you some coffee," and it's just, so that does annoy me. But one thing that annoys me more is when a scene starts and they're wrapping up the conversation, like, and that's why you shouldn't let Grogu eat beans. And I'm just like, dicks, every single one of you. And I have not ever seen that done where it pleased me and made me laugh. And or they'll come in, it's like, "Yeah, you should have worn a mask this time," whatever. And then, like, bunch of dicks, you're not filling me in on what is going on.
I thought you were headed towards another one that really annoys me. So it's me and you, and we're getting into your car, and we're going to drive downtown. And so we get in the car, and I'm like, "So, John, where did you go to high school?" And then it cuts to us getting out the car, and you're like, "North Carolina High School." You're like, "What were you talking about in the time between the thing started and the thing ended? Was there no conversation?" That sort of bad edited. No, that really drives me nuts.
In the car was obviously just too much to carry on that conversation, but we're at peak mental fitness, so we were able to continue it as soon as we got back out of the car. So.
Is that what it is?
There's a Sutherland TV show, Down the Rabbit Hole or something like that.
I watched a few of those.
Oh my gosh, dude. I tried because I'm a big 24 fan. I like what Kiefer brings to the table. But I think there were 3 scenes in the first episode where, he was finishing up a joke. And I'm just like, okay, that's strike one. And then there was another where, "Oh yeah, you should have seen him that time in Tampa." And that's inside humor, and I don't appreciate being left outside. I'm the viewer, right?
Yep.
I'm the one who is going to either, tweet that I love the show and everyone should check it out, or I'm just not going to say anything. Because you and I are on the same page, man. There's no need for negativity. There's no need in trying to, keep anyone from seeing something that they may enjoy.
No,
some people enjoy that kind of stuff, that humor. So
I've spent a lot of the time this morning jumping into people's Facebook threads because I've heard The Flash is terrible. Well, firstly, no, you haven't, because it isn't terrible. Right. So, somebody will say, "I went to see it and I really liked it." Their friends will jump in going, "Oh, I heard it sucks and it's awful." No, you didn't. It's not. So I feel the need to jump in and go, "Actually, it's not terrible," because it's just hearsay trolls. They're more annoying. Go watch it yourself. If you don't like it, it's fine. Doesn't matter. It's only a movie, from the viewer's point of view. You didn't spend $200 million putting it together. You spent about $10 or whatever just sitting down for an hour and a half in a nice air-conditioned theater and just relaxing. It's fine.
Yeah.
So it's bonkers. But a lot annoys me. But I gave up on Rabbit Hole as well.
I just gave up sooner.
I think I got maybe 3 episodes in, and I'm like, it's not terrible. It's okay, and I like Kiefer, but I'm out. I'm done. I don't know what's going on.
I think some writers try to do what they accomplished in Ocean's 11, the George Clooney one, where it's like, "Oh man, we're gonna need a THX 1138 to drop that safe or whatever." We don't need to know. They know, and we understand that they know, and they make it fun. But Yeah. So I guess there are times where it's okay, but you have to do it right. And so maybe that, it's a Steven Soderbergh thing. So
But yeah, the writers. I love the writers. They should be paid. But yeah,
yes.
the terrible writers, just work on your craft, please.
And I mean, there again, there are probably people who do enjoy that kind of chop suey scene starts, but it's
I
okay,
think
man.
I think
Uh,
there are, because you must have encountered somebody who's, you're watching the most simple film and you're like, who's
yeah,
that? What's going on? I'm confused. You're
right.
confused. It's the Fast and the Furious, for God's sake. How can you be confused?
That's
Who's
right.
he? What's going on? Where did he come from? I don't know. I've not seen this film either, and I'm keeping up to date with it. So it's
Right.
maybe the writers are doing it for them. I don't know.
That's when you watch a movie for the second time with someone who hasn't seen the movie, do you like omit that when you're saying, "Hey, we should go see this movie"? Instead of saying it's awesome, do you just say, "Hey, I heard it's good"? And that
Yeah,
way you
yeah,
watch the movie because man, there are some people that if they know you've seen it, then it's like, "Oh my gosh, is that what?" And you just I want to experience the movie again.
yeah.
And I'm kind of a movie purist. I don't mind when I went with my buddy from New York to see Guardians 3, and there were kids in the audience, parents, and there were key moments where they were like, I can't believe that, or whatever. I mean, but it's all wrapped up in the movie, and it's thoughts that we're all having, and kids are awesome to go ahead and spout it out, right?
Mm.
But so anyway, but yeah, it's just fun. But these people who don't want to keep up with what's going on, and then it's like, oh, sorry, man, I missed that. What just happened? Well, get off your phone, dude.
Yeah, that's the problem with home viewing. When it is people on their phones. I'm not terrible at it, but Annette can be quite bad at that. So on the phone, on the phone. This is a terrible film. It's because you're not watching it. Watch the film.
And sometimes you miss those key moments or really cool transitions. And I think it was, can't remember if it's Picard or Strange New Worlds. But we finished up Picard, which was awesome, man. If you haven't seen season 3,
I, I gave
if
I
you're a fan.
gave up on 2. I thought
Oh, really?
two was a struggle. I couldn't get through 2. I'm like, why do I care anymore? And so, but I've been told that 3 gets it back on track and is
And if
good.
you're a Star Trek fan from was it Next Generation, then uh, seeing all the old characters come back for whatever, it's cool.
Mm.
Um, and then Succession, I can't remember where I was going with
Oh,
that, but yeah,
Succession. I've even
I
shifted
figured
in
you and
my
I would talk
chair.
about that.
I've even moved in my chair because of
Yeah, yeah,
Succession. Are you up to date?
yeah, man. We would watch it the Monday after it aired, unless Michelle was taking, like a Monday off. But yeah, so we saw it right after everything went down. But yeah,
Yeah,
man, awesome, wasn't it?
really, really good. Again, you go online and people are, oh, this season was terrible. What did you watch? I mean, I'd never seen an episode of Succession until a couple of months ago, so
Right.
I tore through the whole thing,
And
and
it's very consistent to the
yeah,
point where you probably can't say one season was better than another, right?
no, no, I didn't notice any. Like Kieran Culkin was better in season 1, and in season
Right.
2, it was very, very consistent.
Yeah.
And Kieran Culkin, my favorite character in the show, he was he was great, to the point where I'd been watching a lot of the episodes, and I went into the
Yeah.
office at work, and I was a little bit Kieran Culkin, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, so I need to rein that back. I'd sort of somehow sponged some of his inability to not speak,
Right.
which is not good, but amazing show. One of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen was the one with Brian Cox on the airplane, and the rest of it was done through the mobile phones. Didn't know that was coming. That whole I'd watched that episode weeks after it aired, or at least a few weeks after it aired, so I hadn't seen any spoilers, which surprises me because that is the sort of thing that I would have thought the internet ruined. But I loved it. I thought that is exactly how that situation would go down if
Yeah.
we got a phone call from somebody that was on a plane and bad things were happening. But that was just incredible. Who's your favorite character in Succession then? Which is difficult because most of them are horrible people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's almost like, do I like DC or Marvel better? It was such a good mix, and you feel for Ken, you feel for
Yeah.
Shiv. Roman is just hilarious without any filter at all. I guess he's a little Jake-like, and and then Greg is such a dumbass,
Oh no,
and
I
yet
didn't like him.
an interview with that actor,
No.
it's Greg. He is just big and awkward, big movements, and yeah, man. So I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite. That is a solid ensemble cast. It's almost
Yeah.
like the best rock bands, no matter how big or small, they are a unit. And you pull the bass, the drums, the vocals, the keys, or whatever out, and it's not the same band. So Succession was definitely just solid storytelling.
It was. I miss those characters.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sitting here wondering, what Roman's up to, or
Yep.
what Kendall's up to, or stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's just it's weird, and it's rare when a show gets under your skin like that. Again with Ted
Yeah.
Lasso, I had the
Yep.
finale of
I
Succession,
was gonna. I
and
was
it's like
bringing that up. Yeah.
4 days later, I had the finale of Ted Lasso, and I'm like, this is just the worst week ever, but also the best week ever. And I
Right.
thought the finale for Ted Lasso was also perfect. I loved it, but the internet didn't like a lot of it. I
We
don't know.
want another season, and who wouldn't? But on the other
Yeah.
hand, we don't need it. It's a completed story, um, and that's one of those things where it's been a long time, probably since Firefly or Serenity, that where I was like, man, I want to hang out with this group of people.
Mm,
And Dad Lasso, 3 full seasons.
yep.
But Michelle and I were commenting yesterday because that would be Ted Lasso night. And it's like, hey, is our friend not going to come over tonight and hang out with us? Nope.
Nope.
He's not coming over again.
Nope. He's done.
Yeah.
But it was like, the internet was like, oh, look, there's a mention of the women's football team, so that's what we're getting next. And you're like, don't spin everything off. You don't always need it. We'd like it, and if it comes on TV, we will watch it. But no, just let it move on. I mean, people got upset when The Sopranos ended. I did. I'm like, I want more of that. But then we didn't really get much more of that other than
Right.
the movie, which was okay.
Yeah.
But we were okay because we moved on to 6 Feet Under, or we moved on to
Right.
something Walking Dead, or we moved on to
Yep.
The Shield. There's always going to
Yeah.
be something around the corner.
And
That will.
Shrinking is good. If you want one of those kind of feel good, laugh at a lot of stuff, Shrinking I thought had a good heart. It's not Ted Lasso, but yet I mean, like, it's a close cousin. It's still in the family. It still makes me laugh, and so I'm assuming we'll have a second season of that. So
My co-host Rob on this
yeah.
podcast as well. I have been pestering him for 2 years to watch Ted Lasso, because
Yeah.
he loves the feel good things. He's very much like, if he could, his ideal job would be going out giving pizzas to homeless people, or
Right.
giving them new hats and clothes
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So he's generally like, the world should be a better place, because he's watched way too
Right.
much Star Trek, and that's the
Right.
way that he wants to cure the world, which is fine. And I've been saying, look, watch Ted Lasso, because it is a feel-good show filled with lovely people, and it will just lift you up. No, I don't like
Yeah.
football. I'm like, I don't like football. It's fine,
Right.
or soccer,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't like that.
Right.
But watch it. No. And I really pestered him to watch it, and he watched it. He started watching it on the Thursday, and he finished watching the entire 3 seasons by Sunday night. The whole lot. He battered through, and he loved it. So now I'm pecking his head to watch Steve Jobs, which I also think he will love, but he refuses to watch it because he doesn't like Apple. It's like, just watch the film. It's amazing. It's some of the best writing ever, and one of the best structured films that, it's in that list. And so that's the next one that I'm pestering him to watch. But
excellent cast and excellent writing. You're right, man. It's a solid movie. I've got that on Blu-ray somewhere. I was looking over my stacks and stacks, which that's one of the things I need to do, is figure out where to store all these, because I'd kind of like to move a lot of stuff in that section.
this corner of my house.
Yes.
I will be the curator of John Fouts' entire Blu-ray
All
collection.
right.
But yeah, no. How many do you reckon you've got? I've thinned mine down a lot. I've probably got maybe 600-700.
I probably have similar amount, and then I still have all the DVDs that I had previously, and they're in the sound booth. There's a black curtain, and if you pull that back, there's books. It's the entire library of books and stuff, and then you've got all the movies But I mean, like the movies are already stacked like 4 and 5 deep. So to find anything, it's just kind of a pain in the ass puzzle where you're like pulling this off and putting it down. Then you're just shuffling. Yeah. So
Have you never thought of going through them all, going, I haven't watched that in 10 years, and actually I don't quite like it anymore. Get rid.
I don't know, man, because there have been times where I hated a movie and then I bought it for whatever reason, probably because it was in the nice price bin at Walmart. So Blu-ray $3, okay, I'll get it or whatever. And some of them I bought without even seeing the movie, and I get home and I'm like, well, that really sucks. There was one that's on has Thomas Jane in it, and it's almost like Westworld, and I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, I was so excited to see that I bought it for like $3 and put it on my Vudu account. And it's embarrassing to have that on my Vudu. It is that bad. And I did throw that Blu-ray away. But there's just too much where I'll go down the road and somebody like you will say, hey, you remember that movie, blah, blah, blah. Man, you should watch that. That's relevant now or whatever,
Yeah.
And then, yeah. And my brain is, it remembers every movie that I am supposed to have. So sometimes I've loaned them out and I have to go find them and, figure out who had them last. And then there's one buddy of mine that would move a Blu-ray and then put it in and pull the Blu-ray that he pulled out, put it into the wrong case.
Oh,
so
no.
you think you've got everything, and then it's like you pull out X-Men and there's Thomas Jane's movie, right? So
that's not good.
And then another pet peeve: disc by the edges. Don't put it in your mouth.
Yeah, no. Don't leave it on a carpet. Don't leave it on the rug while you're just no. Yep. I always hold them like this.
Yeah.
Put them in.
Well, and if you don't have big Wookiee hands, then my wife has very small hands because
finger through the hole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dodgy. You and I would be pinky, but yeah.
Terrible packaging. Obviously, this is no use to anybody who's on the audio, but this is a 40 disc thing, and when they pack them like this. And you've got there is no choice but to sort of slide it sideways. That I hate that sort of packaging.
Hoping that it's not recycled and has fiberglass built into it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Then you remember when they used to, I guess it was more for video games, but it seemed like there were a couple of movies that were a 2-disc set. And so the front one, there was one in the back that was up top, and then there was another one underneath. And that one, I mean, like there were times where I had to pinch the little thing in the center to get it to come off. Because I mean, I cracked one of mine.
I will show you a set, and I do love the set because Abel, he bought it, man. He's listening to this. I love the set. It's the full set of Miami Vice. So it's all of them. Man. So all 5 seasons. But check out this packaging. It's like 3 discs deep, each of these. So they are, you've got to sort of crack them out, and the packaging is not super ideal. I can't even close the box now, but it's obviously people don't have, 40 centimeters worth of shelf space. So it's all compact. Yeah. So the discs are amazing, but the packaging's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Not letting a child near that because they'll break it and snap those little things off.
Right. And you remember the days where music was listened to via CD, and you'd have CDs that take up as much space as my movie collection. And if you had one of those pouches that you could just slide them in, and then you get everything, and it's something you could take with you. And of course, now we have phones, so where our music and videos and everything goes with us.
But I know a lot of people that took the Blu-rays or the DVDs out of the plot, out of the Amaray cases, got rid of I don't know what they did with the covers.
Yeah.
They just put the disc in the pouch, and that's great. But where's the
Yeah.
covers? Where I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah.
You've destroyed.
Wow, man.
You've destroyed the Blu-ray.
Well, and not to mention, it's like when those times where I've been looking for a specific movie, and thank God it's on Blu-ray versus DVD, which is in a different room. And nothing is in alphabetical order. My stepson Ian one time asked if he could put things in alphabetical order just to make it easier on everybody. And he did. And of course that didn't last, because then I have to shuffle, and then before long I'm just pulling one to add another and then getting a different shelf. And but yeah, man, if I didn't have the binder, I wouldn't be able to find anything.
The alphabetical thing is good until somebody buys you like Alien Covenant. You're like, fuck's sake, now you've got to shuffle. So you've got to start with Moving Zulu and Zardoz, and then all these other ones, and then work your way up. And then somebody's like, hey, look, I got you Aliens. Oh, for God's sake. So yeah, that can get a little bit messy, putting them in order.
Starting with the word "the," do you put that in a T, or
No.
do you go with the
No, so Blair Witch Project would be under B, and the Terminator would. That's a bad example because that would still be under T. But that's sorry. The Abyss would be under A for Abyss. So
right.
But yeah, no, I've started collecting, or I've near enough finished. I've got 98 out of 100 of my favorite 100 movies, and I have all of those in date order, so when they were released. So that kind of looks cool to look along.
And that's. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you see all these films. It's like, damn, I watched a lot of really good films in 1984, because Gremlins is next to Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, and Ghostbusters, and the Neverending Stories in that area, and so that's quite a good way to do it.
Yeah, and Vudu is one of those libraries, digital libraries, where you can look at it in alphabetical order. You can look at it when you purchased it. I think there's a third option, and it makes it easy to find stuff.
Yeah,
but you can't just do that with the with the physical media.
No, but do you not find that sometimes trying to find things on streaming is a nightmare, depending on the streaming platform?
Yeah.
It's
and then Google sucks, man, because you're trying to find one movie like I want to see Spider-Man 2, Electric Boogaloo, and you look it up and Google says, oh, you can watch this on Netflix. And then you go to Netflix, it's not there. Roku, which is on every one of our TVs, the Roku app itself on the Roku will help you find things, like, do you want to watch this movie? This is showing on, Max, which we already commented. I don't understand why they took the HBO out, but you've got Max, you've got Netflix, and I thought it was interesting that Avatar: Way of Water is on both Max and Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that just makes James Cameron more money.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Yep, makes him more money. Not that he needs it, but he's got to pay for these diving suits somehow, I guess.
Yeah. So but it was interesting. The movie felt so different. We've only made it through half of it, The Way of Water. And so we will finish it up. I mean, I'm a big James Cameron fan, but it seemed different than the first one. I think without any humans interacting, it just felt like a Pixar movie at that point. But everybody, and I thought, well, surely they cheated some. They didn't really have the actors act out everything, but they really did. So
good. So they should. Yeah. Actors should act.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Some of this AI stuff is what is it? Metahumans. I can't remember what the terminology is, but where it is a digital double of yourself, and it moves realistically. It's not like what was the Polar Express, where it's like, okay. I mean, like it's believable. It's like there's too much detail in these models, and that's why that they're not real. Even with shooting in 4 and 6K, I don't know, it's just too perfected. But it's interesting. I mean, like I'm waiting on. I mean, was that something that the Actors Guild went on strike for? Don't replace us with digital, because I mean, like a digital double would be nice if the piano is going to drop on your head, or you think about what was it, Buster Keaton with the
Mm.
wall that fell over,
Yeah.
and he had it perfectly planned. Or we may not have ever seen anything from him again, you know. But yeah, and of course Marvel uses the crap out of it and it looks good. DC uses the crap out of it and it rarely looks good until the last couple of movies. I don't know what the difference is. I mean, they both have money, but maybe I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, did somebody say, "Oh, we'll never notice the difference if we go to Joe's animation versus Industrial Light and Magic," and then that person's fired. He's working at Lowe's now, so.
He probably is. He's probably a genius is probably slogging away on an Avid somewhere, just going, it's not for me. I don't like it.
I just think if there's a version of hell where you're forced to edit the devil's video, you're doing it on an Avid. You will hate every day.
So I take it when John Fouts, the filmmaker, goes and makes your own superhero movies or whatever, you're not going to be anywhere near an Avid.
No, not at all. I mean, the fact that there are free apps that are way better than Avid, but yet this is what it's older people. I'll be kind again. It's older people making dumbass decisions. Just because this worked great 15 years ago doesn't mean it still works great now. I mean, it was a pioneer in the day. But then Apple said, "Oh, we can do that." Clickety click, and created Final Cut. And then Adobe said, "Wow, we better step Premiere up." Clickety click. And Avid was just like, "Whatever, we've got fans, man."
It probably is. It probably is a lot of that. You'll have somebody Google it going, "Hey, look, James Cameron did Terminator 2 on an Avid, so he knows what he's doing because he's made lots of movies." And they go with what they've heard of and make themselves look smart. But doesn't sound like they are.
List, then hey, alphabetical, Avid, yeah, we'll do that. So
it could be. Could be the whole sort of zoology edited suite. Nobody's even paying attention to that one at all.
Yeah. Yep. Seemed like there was a point I was going to make that didn't have to do with Avid, and I lost it in a second, man. That happens sometimes. So.
Avid just angered you. That's what it was. It's just making you mad.
It's the Hulk saying, "Calm down, man. We don't need to replace those clothes."
No. But no, you were right. I think with the actors, there was a lot of the AI stuff. It still is a lot. Because as an actor, I could go, "John, I want you to be in my film. You're brilliant. How much are you going to pay me? I'm going to pay you X amount." You're like, "That's okay. That's pretty good." And then this big contract that you've signed, it might be like, "Right, I own your likeness. I can then go off and make 15 sequels that make a fortune. You don't get anything because you've already been paid. You got paid on the first one, so you're out. And then you don't have enough to live on to get you to the next sort of gig." So I think with the actor stuff, there's a lot of that.
Or when if you're very successful as a movie actor, bigger than Sean Connery ever was, and so somebody says, "Hey, look, man, I've got this little project, but the total budget's $500,000," and you're just like, "I worked for 3 times that." So then they scan you, and then they use your likeness, and they're going to pay you royalties and everything, right? But then they do a porno with it and get you in trouble with the net. You know what I mean? It's just, it can. And that's the problem with AI in that you can, it's in Photoshop, you can select an area. I was playing around yesterday. Sometimes that's just how I take my 5-minute breaks as I try to, release the steam. And I took a picture of me sitting here in the office, and then I selected my, like around my shirt, and it wasn't even tight. It was loose. And I said, suit with a blue jacket and a gold tie, and bam, it was there. And then I decided, well, let's step it up, man. So I selected again. I said tuxedo, and then I chose to put myself in a different, with a different background. And I don't even have to look for it now with AI. You just say what you want, that you type it in, and it's there. And now they're getting to the point where you can do that with video. And it looks a little weird because every frame won't be consistent. I don't think animators need to worry about losing their jobs. But eventually, and you'll still have the animators who do the, like the old school, the bend and stretch techniques and stuff. Because I don't think AI is ever going to be able to put soul into anything. But going back to Polar Express, I'm sure that is a possibility. Something of that quality. And the story was fine. It was just that animation, man. That was bad.
I think a lot of it is obviously the creative people are future proofing themselves. So, AI might not be able to do it now, but in 5-10 years, you don't know. And what we don't want is all these creative geniuses out of a job and not doing anything. And then some executive going, I'll just write a new blockbuster movie.
Right.
And then it comes out as crap.
They will write it with Chat GPT and it'll actually be decent because a friend of mine has written a couple of books, not novels, but like how-to books. And she has just typed in, this is the information, this is what I'm talking about. And I need 3 paragraphs, and then I need this and that. And it does a pretty good job. Now, sometimes it gets the facts completely wrong, but a lot of times it does it right. But I don't know, man. There's something about the creativity that only humans can embody.
Yep.
And of course, in 10 years, Cyberdyne's going to play that back and go, okay, he's number 1 on our list.
Yep. And James Cameron will be like, I did tell you many times.
They are listening to everything.
They are. They probably are through our Amazon devices, which I didn't want to say her name because she would probably go off.
That's like lots of times, with the Apple Watch, if I pull it up like this, I'm going to pull it back down really quick. She will listen and then try to respond instead of me having to say Siri's name. And so, and so sometimes I'm talking to a client or whoever on the phone and I've got my arm up and all of a sudden she goes, I didn't quite hear that. And I'm like, you're just shut up. No,
shut up. Yeah. Same. We have 3 of the Amazon things in different rooms. And sometimes I'll be in one room and I'll tell her to put something on, and then the other ones will go off. And it's like, how are you even hearing that? The doors are shut. But the hearing on those things are incredible.
He's talking about you too. So
more than likely. So what have you got planned for the rest of your day? Have you got anything exciting or
actually
obviously not as exciting as this, but
No, and I told Michelle that I was doing this before lunch, and this was going to kick my day off right. After a morning of Avid, this was going to it was going to set me back towards true north. And when she gets home, we're going on a vacation. So not as exciting as Tunisia, of course, but heading out to the coast and spend a few days out there and just relax, get away from everything.
Yeah, that's exactly. It sounds like we're both doing the same. Different locations on the planet, but both just getting away from the. So, will you take a lot of your screens with you? I mean, obviously, you're gonna have your phone with you. How often will you check it?
I don't check it that often, and my Apple Watch is set up so that if anyone, if anyone texts me or calls, then it'll show up on my phone, and I can decide if I want to answer it or not. So. There have been times on vacation I have turned on my phone onto airplane mode and just used it as a camera or a video camera. So, but so probably not a lot. I mean, that's a part of why we're going out there, and Michelle and I are talking about a lot of future businesses and stuff that we would like to be a part of or start, and just trying to get to that state of independence.
It's exactly the same as Annette and I were doing in Tunisia. So I will check my phone probably a couple of times a day just to screen emails. Right. And then anything needs to go on the website or whatever goes, I'll put it in a folder and then I'll deal with it when I come back. But I'm not one of these, and I will just do as you do, switch it onto airplane mode, and I've got a camera. So I'll be shooting lots of TikTok videos and lots of YouTube videos. So it's like, shoot this way, now shoot that way, now shoot this way, now shoot that way. That's annoying. So
it'll be fun, man. I just started thinking it's been almost an hour and 20 minutes, and I don't want to lose you because one of my AirPods would just go dead. And it doesn't give you any warning. Like, it'll just go and it's done. So
wow.
I put the other one in. They last for about an hour and a half, somewhere in
Okay.
there. So
Well, that's good
yeah.
timing because we are sort of wrapping up now anyway.
Yep.
That's the other thing about doing this video. I've not
Yeah.
looked at the clock, so I'm not
Yeah.
sure how long we've been talking. So until you said an hour and 20 minutes, I had no clue. Maybe I need to put a clock behind the monitor, and I'll get used to all that because I don't like to
Yeah.
monopolize too much of your time and stuff. But
Yeah. But it's with a lot of clients. This is the way I used to do anyway. I would pull my watch off and put it face down on the table as we were talking, and that way they knew that they had the floor. I wasn't gonna, I wasn't being distracted by the time and stuff like
yeah,
that. But now that I have the Apple Watch, then it's a little. It just vibrates. It does a ping, and then
mm,
I'll just glance down, see if I need to take the call and interrupt the conversation. And so they feel valued, and I'm
yeah.
still looking after business. So
I know when I do a lot of the interviews face to face with filmmakers at festivals,
yeah,
I've now got into the habit of, because they're normally like 15 minutes, these things,
yeah,
which when I'm used to talking for like an hour and a half, 15
right,
minutes is a blink.
right,
So, and I don't want to annoy the PR person or the filmmaker who's got 5 of these things to do. So I always
right,
get somebody to stand behind the guest and do this.
yeah.
And so
A
when I see
floor
them do
manager,
that,
man. Yeah.
I know, is that what they are? So I'm like, just, you got to do that. Otherwise I will just keep talking until, I don't talk anymore.
You're coming
But
up with the non-standard questions. That's something I've always been very impressed with you. You come up with the things that people don't normally ask, and therefore the interviews are fresh versus,
mm.
hey, what you think about working with Wonder Woman? Oh, fine, well, it was fine. It
they've
was
been,
whatever, man.
they've been asked that a million times. So that's why I
Yeah.
always try and avoid asking them anything. But then you don't want to ask the dumb arse ones like, so what's your favorite soft drink? That's, you've got to try and find. I mean, sitting down one of the next podcast ones, which is already on video, but me and Mick Garris, it's like any question that I could ask Mick Garris about, like any films he does a podcast where people can ask him anything, and my question's been on that a couple of times. And we're Twitter friends, so I've asked him a whole bunch of stuff, and I've read his biography that's written by Abby Bernstein, great book. I've read that, so I ended up just chatting about stuff. We chatted about Toby Hooper and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and me quitting my job at some point, and now 6 months later I've done it. And when Mick Garris turns around, he's like, I don't know how you've done your job as long as you have. To me, that's God saying quit. So so
I agree,
you know
man. Yeah. And dude, it is people like you and Neil and a small handful of others that as I would talk about, looking for contract work and not working for one company, but kind of looking towards the future, being independent again. And I appreciate all the encouragement that all you guys have given me.
that's because we're big fans of yours.
I appreciate that.
I knew that you were chatting to Neil recently because when I was speaking to Neil, I think probably like a week or so ago on the phone, he mentioned that he'd been talking to you. So I know Neil's a huge fan of yours. I'm a huge fan of yours. It works. We've been sort of friends for a long time. Neil said virtual friends, but you know what I mean. We've not
Dude,
met.
it
We've not
counts
met.
this
It
day and
does count.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it will happen. It's crazy the number of dreams I've had in the last year where Michelle and I have traveled to England, and you were a part of that tour. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
where we came and hang out at your house and visited and stuff like that. So hopefully one of these days that'll happen, either over there or you
Or
coming to the
over
United
where
States.
we
Yeah.
nearly did. I put the map back up on the wall and I was planning it, but then
Yeah.
financially we looked at it and it's like it is going to gobble up about 60% of my savings.
Yeah.
And it's like, can we really justify going to the US and having a great 2 or 3 weeks,
Right.
but destroying so much savings, which means when we do come back, I'll have to just
Yeah.
rush out and find a crappy job. And I don't want to
Right.
do that. I
Yeah.
want to work. So it very nearly happened again, but it will happen at some point. We'll get over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now that quarantine is lifted and
Yeah.
people are free to travel again. So yeah, it'd be good, man.
I will bring Grogu. Grogu can meet Grogu,
All
and
right. Sounds good,
it'll
man.
all be perfect. But
And by then I'll have my Mandalorian section on the wall done. And because I've got the Black Series helmet. I've ordered a helmet from some dude in India, and it was like $60 made of metal. And I was like, how bad could it be? and it arrived like 3 days later, and it was, I mean, like, anyway, I had to modify it a little bit
Oh, yeah.
myself. So
Modify or fix it?
I tried to make it look a little less like a fat knight would fit in it, and
Wow,
more like a Mandalorian helmet. But now it looks all right, man.
good. That's because you're
Yeah.
skilled. That's because you know what you're doing. So,
Well, give me a rubber mallet. I think that's what Avid's taught me. Give me a rubber
yeah,
mallet, and I'll make this work. So
definitely. But now you
So what?
enjoy you. Oh, sorry, carry on.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you say what you're doing today? I
Nothing.
mean,
I'm
like
gonna.
your
Yeah,
day's already.
yeah. It's 5:15 in the afternoon / evening. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go find some food. Annette's been out today. I don't know if she's back in yet. I'll find out when I go downstairs.
Yeah.
And probably just gonna watch a movie and pack our suitcases, getting ready to go to Tunisia on Saturday.
Yeah,
So,
man, dude, that's awesome. I
too
hope you
long
have a
now.
great trip, and I can't wait to see the video and stuff of everywhere you shoot, and say hello to Uncle Owen and Aunt Peru and the
I will.
Jawas, and yeah.
I will. But you have a good trip as well. Enjoy your
Hey,
trip to the
thanks, man.
coast. All
Yeah.
right.
All right, dude. Take care.
Take care, John. Bye bye.
Bye.